With enough patience, the suspect will often interrogate himself.
Move on! Captain! Up here! There's a body!
Hi, Harry. It's a pleasure to chat with you. I really enjoyed your film.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You know, I found that this is a very fascinating fictional thriller that also incorporates the real-life Edgar Allan Poe, which is played by you. So what was it about that blend of fiction and reality that influenced the way that you approached this role?
Yeah, I think that's so true. I think it's a combination of this very rich Gothic landscape, which is fictionalized and very much living in the Edgar Allan Poe world. And then kind of running this narrative, which is very thriller, it's very taut, it's very tight, but also it does dip into historical fact. Like Edgar Allan Poe was at West Point in the 1830s. He did last there a year and then got himself kicked out because he had enough. That fusion between those two things was a fascinating thing to try and get my head around. And also in terms of preparing for the role, that was very much my way of going about that as well. Reading as much as I could about him as a person and obviously his own works, and then having the room to reinvent our idea of who this man was.
Well, the Edgar Allan Poe that many of us are familiar with is the extraordinarily talented, but at times very troubled author of these Gothic stories, these Gothic tales, as well as detective stories. So how is the Edgar Allan Poe in this story quite different?
I said, okay, I think we need to get at the end of the film to that more darker, more Gothic, more macabre figure. And then at the beginning, it should kind of be very different. He should feel very young. He should feel very innocent, vulnerable. I constantly thought he was in a sense of performance mode. Both his parents were actors, and I think he loved being theatrical. And I thought that was something I could lean into. So yeah, we meet a very optimistic, very strange, awkward young man. As it plays out, we find ourselves with a sort of darker, gloomier version of Poe, and maybe it might go to answer answer the reasons why he turned into the man that he became. So that was definitely my challenge in the film.
Poe, I need you to discreetly infiltrate the cadets.
What is this?
Blood, symbols, rituals.
Oh, my lord.
Man will do most anything to cheat death.
And you share a great many scenes with Christian Bale, who plays a detective that the two of you are investigating these rather gruesome murders at West Point, but there's an underlying sort of father and son relationship that develops over the course of the film.
Absolutely, yeah. I think when we first meet them, they're both outsiders. They're very different, of course, very different characters. But I think for Poe in Landor, he sees a sense of belonging to something. His entire life, I think Poe tried to find that sense of home, that sense of belonging. And I think in Landor, he finds that, I think, and that's what makes their relationship so sincere. To me, I find it a very moving and beautiful relationship.
And I also understand the makeup that was used for you in terms of, the hairstyle, as well as you not sporting the trademark Edgar Allan Poe mustache. And you felt that that was important to approaching this character.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, they shaved my hairline back to try and give him that prominent forehead. I did think my forehead was big enough, but they're like, no, we're going to go further with it. So they went quite far, actually, which is great because it immediately changes how your face moves, and suddenly your eyebrows become more expressive because it's got a bigger space to be in. So that was wonderful. And yeah, the moustache was, I thought, a great move, because obviously it's a very iconic thing that we recognize, but that's not what we're doing. We are challenging people's perception of that. And so it's quite nice to give us a bit more room in terms of people coming to this character again. And so I thought it was a nice balance between things you'd recognize in him, but also things that were new. And I'm glad we didn't go for the tash in the end.
Well, I congratulate you on a great film. The film is called The Pale Blue Eye, debuting on Netflix. And congratulations, and looking forward to more works from you coming up in the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We're no closer to finding who's responsible for this than we were a month ago! We are closer. It's only a matter of time.